Vortex here, back with a review of a company you may or may not know. This is made by Hisenior, a company called Topeco or Topeco, I'm not sure the correct pronunciation, called Topeco Electronics. Anyway, this is the Hisenior B5 Plus. It used to be a B5, and then they updated the drivers. It went to the B5 Plus, which is these. But now on the AliExpress page, it's gone back to B5. So in the link in the description, I will link the correct page for these. But anyway, these are 5 Knowles BAs aside and look awesome. MMCX connector. Look awesome. Take one of these tips off. So you can have a look. To focus. See the little filter there. So yeah, these are Hisenior B5 Plus. So 5 Knowles BAs. These stats, well, are, let me get the information up. They're meant to be 20 ohm with 102 decibels of sensitivity. So slightly harder, well, slightly lower sensitivity as normal, but yeah, 5 Knowles BAs aside. There's no indicators which is left or right, but you can tell from the shape that's left, obviously because of this bit fits in here. So there's left, there's right. This is the cable it comes with. One thing of note is they've slightly updated the packaging with these. So the newer ones, if you click the link in the description, you'll see the full product page, but it's not this cable anymore. It looks like one that's a little bit more flexible. It's not a bad cable, but once it's out, it's fine. There's no kinks or anything like that. But yeah, 3.5 connector, chin slider, and these seem to work fine. These quite stiff, but because it's not large, it really does keep them in your ear. They do say the sizes. Well, there you go. There's right, and obviously that's left. It's a decent length cable. It's a little stiff, which can be good or bad, depending on your circumstances. So that's that. Little cleaning cloth. Don't think that really matters. This case works well. I don't know the life if I can get my words straight. Expectancy of the hinges, I don't know, but I don't know. But yeah, foam, a load of tips. These are the ones I think people recommended to me, was to go for wide bore tips, but they didn't. I found it was better to go with the tips I've got on it, which is these silicone ones. So the hole's smaller, but they worked for me. But a lot of people recommend the wide bore tips, but it's all preference, and a load of different tips. Oh yeah, on newer ones as well, I'm sure the packaging is different, but then again, just check the link in the description. It's the updated product page. It's a bit different these times. It's changed quite a bit. So let's get to comfort. Comfort was I think it's fine. They're an ergonomic shape, and these are also handmade, so bear that in mind. When I ordered them, you have an option of if you want a 2-pin or MMCX. If you want the 2-pin, you have to pay slightly more, but I wanted to keep the costs down, so I kept it as the MMCX. And by default, they come with a a logo, but it's free to have it, or it's free to delete it, shall we say? And I didn't want one. Excuse me. So I didn't have the logo. So let's get into the sound. These are Midcentric. So quick summaries. It's Midcentric. That means either end of the frequency range is kind of rolled off. But I'll get to that more in a second. But yeah, these are quite different to what China normally makes, because one, them handmade, and two, the tuning is really different, which could be good or bad depending on your circumstances. But let's get into lows. I found the sub bass to be rolled off. It's actually got very clean mid bass. These aren't overly bassy. There's just enough bass so they don't feel dry or sterile. They have enough there. They have enough of a warmth, is the best way to body describe it. Same from the mids. The mid bass goes into the mids really nicely. I don't know if you call that muddy or mid bass roll off. I don't know, but yeah, these are more of a mid-centric tune. So vocals, acoustic instruments, things like that, they sound really clean, incredibly clean, with no harshness whatsoever, because the tuning's so different. So yeah, really clean mids, but mid-centric, so it's more in your face. People may like that, people may not like that. It all depends on your preference. So I'll get into the highs. It seems like there's a dip instead of a peak like normal in the upper mids lower treble section. Normally that's where Chinese stuff tends to have it elevated, so it gives the apparent of more vocals and more in your face singing vocals, but this doesn't have that. They're not shouty like some, like the KZs and the CCAs and TRN and obviously a bunch of other ones. This doesn't have that, and then it seems to roll off a bit in the treble. But because it uses high quality armatures, it's still got plenty of detail and clarity. You've still got that, and that's what you pay for with more expensive drivers. You get the pros and not really much of the cons. That's how I see it. So you get the treble detail, but without the harshness of because it's the filter. More effort has gone into this than what KZ do, and just churn them out on a production line. This, these are like that. It's different, and these look awesome in the flesh. Really good. Isolation, really good. I'm not quite sure the exact number. It may be 18 decibels. But yeah, these are really good. These would be good if you... It might sound strange, but people are like podcasts. Or if you do podcasts and you don't really want to use headphones, because more the mids are coming out through this, these might be a good option for that. So talk about soundstage. The soundstage was decent because it still has enough of the treble before it really rolls off. It has enough of that detail there. Soundstage was good. Obviously not amazing because it doesn't have the high treble, but yeah, it was good. Imaging really good, really clean. These have zero fatigue. Whoever buys these, it's such a different tuning. It may take you by surprise. You may or may not like it, but these are so easy to listen to. I think they did a great job. And they've also released one called the A6, which is meant to be extremely similar but with a bit more low end. So that may suit some other people. And do I recommend these? Yes, but you have to take in the fact that it's mid-centric. So these kind of roll off at either end of the spectrum. You have to accept that. we can always EQ a little bit. Them call them Knowles drivers, so you can push them a little bit. But all I like is a standard tune. I don't really touch anything. But I recommend them. They're really good. Obviously they're not as cheap as the normal Chinese variants because one, handmade, and two, Knowles drivers cost more than like the Belsings that you see in all the KZ and CCA and TRN. They're cheap because they buy them in bulk in the thousands. This is different, but you have to bear that in mind. So yeah, cons. Yeah, I'd say the con is the Midcentric or Pro, depends on your seat. Isolation is really good, but depends on your situation. That could be bad or good. Cable could have been better, but the newer ones have a different cable, so I can't really say much about that. And yeah, and they lack a little bit of range at either end of the spectrum, but again, you might be able to EQ them up a bit, so you can always fix that. So yeah, good job by Hisenior. I think the guy's name's Gareth. Done a nice job. I appreciate the really different tuning because a lot of things are just V-shaped or U-shaped, and these aren't that. So I have a zoom in of those. So yeah, no indicators. Obviously this one's right. So five BAs, 5 Knowles BAs aside. That's it guys, I'm out.